Let's discuss this week. This week started out April 12th, the YSL trial. Okay, so just a good weekly update, right? So we start out the week with Shard on cross examination, Max Shard on cross examination, who is Shannon Stillwell's attorney, and he's cross examining DK. Okay, so I think as watching him get with DK, and as we learned from last week that DK actually, well, we learned this week that DK actually remembered a lot more information from that shooting that happened in April 2015 because he was shown a video of his interview that he did back in 2015 where he explained everything, and I guess that brought back all of his memories. And the defense pretty much made it known or let it be known to the jury that, hey, the state wanted him to come testify for them, but they never showed him anything from back then, so he didn't remember much of anything. And let me skip forward a little bit because the state ended up letting us know that the reason they couldn't show him anything is because he refused to meet with them. Also, we found out that they did meet with him one time at his house, but they didn't bring any devices to show him a video. So they kind of tried to ping pong this thing back and forth to say, why didn't the state show him the video? And the state is saying he wouldn't meet with us. And so the state is pretty much trying to make it seem like he was lying about not remembering stuff, when the defense is saying he would have remembered it had y'all properly prepared your witness, which we've been talking about for a while with the state improperly handling their witnesses. It's really not making sense. So essentially what DK said was, I welcomed them into my home. He said he invited them over, actually. Invited them over into his home, talking to them about the cold case and everything like that. He said he didn't have any problem. Everything was cordial with Miss Simone Hilton and the people that came with her. He had no problem until they asked him a question, pretty much insinuating that he robbed, how you doing, Hippie Easter? Insinuating that he robbed Archillian Bennett, which is Shay, that he called Shay, or A. Bennett, or the lady who was on the stand that we didn't see her face. Insinuating that he robbed her when he was saying, pretty much, how can you come in my house and disrespect me like that? Why would I rob her? That's my friend. Why would you even think I would rob her? So from that point forward, according to what DK is saying, the state disrespected him. So from there forward, he called his lawyer, said, hey, what's going on with them? Like, what are they talking about? They're trying to say I robbed my friend, Shay, and I haven't committed no crimes against no women. I didn't rob her. Like, pretty much grew up around her, kind of. So why would I rob her? And that's my baby mom's friend. So that would be ridiculous for me to rob her. And then the lawyer told him, you don't have to speak to them anymore if you don't want to. So from that point forward, he started declining the request to meet with the state after that. So, and then pretty much he didn't meet with the defense either from that point forward either until they got into the trial when it was time to him for him to testify. As you've seen, when DK first started testifying, he didn't really remember anything. And at that point still, the state had an opportunity to say, hey, can we come early in the morning? Can you meet with us and we'll show you this video? We apologize for offending you, whatever. Let's meet and I will prepare you for this testimony. They didn't do that. But Max Shard had him come early and they showed him the video of him doing an interview back in 2015. And that made him remember everything. So I think we talked about that last week. But anyway, he got very detailed this week about what he saw or what happened in the whole shooting incident, right? More detailed. So he's pretty much telling it like, the car left from the gas station. They ended up leaving from the gas station. But as they're leaving from the gas station, they end up running into an intersection where they see that same car at the intersection. In their mind, which they were very, very, very high, intoxicated on all the type of drugs, which DK admitted to. He says we were like, all of us was high, right? What's going on, T-Dub? Everybody was high, right? So he's saying we seen him we didn't see him. Nard or somebody on that side of the car, on the driver's side of the car, saw the vehicle, the blue vehicle at the stoplight or at the stop sign. And Nard was the driver. He pretty much indicated to everybody that's them. And he said something like, yo, they playing with us. Pretty much like they were trying to roll back up on him and try to rob them or do something to them, right? And so they ended up seeing the car, and that's when Nard pulls over in front of them, blocks them in so that the blue car couldn't get away from them or around them. And rolls the window down and starts shooting into the blue car, right? Where he feels like he's seen somebody that OG Bentley had just told him at the gas station was about to rob them or trying to set him up or something was going on, which they never got out of the car. So OG Bentley really don't know what they was trying to do. But upon watching the video, we do see that car was doing a lot of like weird stuff at the gas station. They was moving from pump to pump. They was just sitting there, nobody getting out the car. So it was very odd what they were doing. And a lot of people that's like getting money in the streets or surrounded by the streets, or they have money from music, but they have a background in the streets. A lot of people would have interpreted that movement the same way. They would have thought, oh, they're trying to rob me. So that's why OG Bentley stayed in the store and called his young hitters, told them to come up there. And they did what young intoxicated fellows do when they get the call from the OG. So they saw him, Nard, start rocking the joint, shot a few times in the car, and that's when Dexter Montgomery gets hit, right? So DK is explaining this whole thing, like, and DK is remembering, so he's giving up all the detail. Like you like, yo, Nard starts shooting. I don't really know if the person in the back seat was shooting, but I know for sure Nard was shooting into the car, and he was shooting. He's like, I never shot. He was shooting, and after that we went home, and then I like kind of, this is what DK was saying, like I kind of avoided them for about a month. I didn't see them for about a month after that, and so I guess when this happened, they got off and moved on about their day or whatever. But eventually, they got roped up. So now this is something that I realized. And remember, I said before that these dudes were being charged. This YSL RICO case includes a bunch of charges that these people have already been convicted of. This is one that I didn't realize. The shooting that we talking about from April 12th, 2015, DK actually went to prison for 7 years for that shooting. He didn't do it, and he was snitching. I'm using the word snitching. Don't be offended, DK, if you're watching this. I'm sure you watch it. I'm using that word. That's the best word I know to describe it. But DK was assisting the police with the investigation, okay? He didn't shoot anybody. He was there. He knew what happened. They can call it an accomplice, but pretty much he gave them all the information that they needed to make the convictions. They still gave him 7 years, right? They gave him 7 years. So from mid 2015 to like January 2022. So from when the shooting happened all the way up to January 2022, DK was in prison, right? DK gets out of prison. From January 2022, he was free until May 2022. Then he got indicted on this RICO case for the exact same shooting. Do y'all realize that? They got convicted, went to prison, and got locked up again for the same shooting. I'm going to say this, right? It's too late right now for the YSL guys, but Georgia has to change their RICO law. They can't use their RICO laws to get around double jeopardy laws. There's no way. They have to change that. After this, that needs to be changed. I don't understand how that's possible. And we have been seeing this a lot throughout this whole case, but to me, this is the most egregious because this dude went to prison for it. It's not like he took a deal and avoided jail time, or he told on somebody and avoided jail time. He actually went to prison for almost a decade. He was on probation. He was on parole when they let him out in 2022, and then they rearrested him 4 months later. And one of his charges was this shooting that he didn't commit and that he helped them solve. Right? So this type of like stuff like that, it's crazy that we find out that that's even legal, but the fact that they're actually using it like this is sick. That's how I feel about it. Like, I don't understand how they got away with that one. That's a crazy one. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this case, but that right there is sick. You see what I'm saying? You really can't justify that. I know people say, oh, we want to clean up the streets. Like, we don't care. He was a criminal. Get these gang members off the street. That's fine. But when you do your time for a crime, come on, man. We can't. That's not the way we can operate as a society of civilized people who understand law, morality, ethics, all this type of stuff. You can't be locking people up for the same thing twice, especially when they go to prison for 7 years for the thing. He didn't do the shooting. He went to prison for 7 years for riding in a car with somebody that was shooting. Y'all realize that, right? We could talk about the racist implications of that from history, riding in the car with somebody that shot somebody, got this, and he cooperated, still got him 7 years in prison. And then charged with the same thing again 4 months after he got out of that prison sentence. Do y'all realize how sick that is? And we listen, it's not even much I can even say about that. I know that the Georgia has to change their rules after this case. Yeah, Georgia has to change their rules after this case is over. DK went through a few things. You know, the state was really pushing on him about the whole, like, I forget who had DK. It was Hilton. Hilton had DK. And if y'all remember Hilton, when she was on direct examination, she asked DK, like, who was with him on the September 11, 2013 incident where they robbed Dirty Red and then crashed the car, got shot by the police, all that. He was like, when I woke up, they told me that Bean was with me, Adrian Bean. When I woke up, they told me that Fred Prethro was with me. She's like, when you woke up, did they tell you that Jeffrey Young Thug was with you? He was like, no, nobody told me that. But then fast forward to when they was on redirect, he said the same thing again. And then she tried to flip it like he said something else. And Miss Hilton, if you're watching this, you were wrong about that. He did say, nobody told me Young Thug was with me. He that's what his original statement was. He never made a definitive statement that Young Thug wasn't with him. He said he didn't remember. He said nobody told him that. So don't like. I didn't like her trying to play with him like that. We all watched the video. He didn't say that. Okay, so because the state viewed DK as lying, they said, all right, so now we need to introduce this video interview of him because this is pretty much conflicting testimony and or what they call prior inconsistent statements by the witness. So now we need to use this video to impeach this witness because he's lying. Pretty much the state fought against it because the defense fought against it because they're like, no, this wasn't prior inconsistent statements. He didn't remember. He didn't say he didn't lie. He just said he didn't remember. When we showed him the video, then he did remember. The state was like, nah, he lied about XYZ. So the judge let them use it. Right. So they got the video and they played it. And DK is, like we already knew, he's giving he's giving it up, giving up the information that that they wanted. And back in that interview, he actually made the connection for everybody. Like I told you, I wasn't as tapped in, so I didn't really know the origin story of this beef. But he said it in that video. It pretty much started with a feud between Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan, which is so strange to me, right? But he didn't say why they were beefing, but he said it started over them two beefing, right? So back in the video, he pretty much said that Thug and Rich Homie Quan got into it, fell out, or whatever the situation was. And that made Rich Homie Quan go get up under Nut, Big Nut. Big Nut is supposedly an If Gang OG, right? So pretty much going to get up under Nut for protection. We don't know what type of, payment plan, we don't know what type of subscription model they was using, but going up and getting up under Big Nut, who was a well-respected member in Atlanta, was going to pretty much guarantee some protection for somebody like Young Thug, who wasn't, like I said, I thought Young Thug was from somewhere in DeKalb County. I'm pretty sure he is. So he really wasn't involved like that. So him going to get up under like some real members was to ensure that Young Thug wouldn't be able to do him too dirty, right? He needed a strong team behind him. And the If Gang, ABG, that whole conglomerate, they were strong, right? So Rich Homie gets up under them. When he, this is what DK is saying. Pretty much when Rich Homie get under these people, then they start to attack Young Thug. Like when I say attack, I mean verbal, like, speaking down on his character, saying he a fake blood, fake gang member, all this type of stuff. So they start speaking down on him. That starts to make, now the streets is getting involved. Because now when Nut get involved, they were all cool with the whole Rich Gang thing. But now because Nut, now he's financially tied to this thing. Because now the person that's paying me to protect him don't like you, Young Thug. So now I don't like you. You understand? That's what I'm gathering from what DK said, right? So now the streets is getting involved. Now they talking about fake street, fake blood, fake all this. And then it escalates from there. They say there was a fight at the club. And I believe We find this out from one of the cops and DK also. Late 2014, there's a fight in Club. I think they said this was in Club Crucial between If Gang people and YSL people, which we later find out who it was. But If Gang versus YSL people, they get to fighting in the club. And now we have taken this like internet back and forth thing up another level because now we got, quote unquote, we got violence, right? Thank you, Hippie Easter. Please make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share. Make sure you comment, right? So now we got violence because now we have a squabble in the club. You know what I mean? We got, it's not a friendly fade. We hear that this is actually a jumping, right? So as DK is finishing up on his testimony, pretty much he's letting it be known that he's remorseful for what happened to Dexter Montgomery. He didn't know who he was. He really had no reason to do what he was doing. He said none of them really had a reason to do what they was doing. They was high. They was doing a lot of stupid stuff back then. He said he wished it never happened. Pretty much it was a mistake in his life. You know, he let it be known that he wasn't with what he did and what he was into at that time in his life. I don't know if anybody has looked up. If anybody has looked up Nard, right? Let me pull up Nard's name so I want y'all to look up Nard on the Fulton County inmate search. And Nard, I'm not trying to like throw no salt on your name. This is what I'm. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna give y'all Nard's real name so you can look him up. His real name is Tanquarius Mender, right? Go do a search in the Fulton County jail inmate. The reason why I'm saying search him, right? He is bidding. If y'all know what bid mean, he's fully in the life of a convict in jail. The amount of charges that this man has gotten, I've never seen nobody with a rap sheet that long. I'm telling you, go look up the inmate search. You can see his charges. I swear to, his charges look like my podcast notes. I've never seen nothing like this. Y'all look him up. Do the inmate search. I'm telling you, Nard is bidding crazy. But DK says in his interview that Nard, oh, you said that's the wrong person? Well, I'm looking at the actual indictment. I'm looking at the indictment paperwork. They say that Tanquarius Mender's nickname is Nard. That didn't sound right to me either, but that's what they said. Hold on. Let me keep reading, man. My bad. Let me make sure I got the right name for y'all. No, that's the name that they say. Either way, though, if I'm looking at something that's incorrect, which I'm looking at the actual indictment right here. But I want y'all to look up Nard, though. I want y'all to look up Nard. Go look at his rap sheet. My boy, DK said in the interview that he was doing. Oh, it's 2 Nards? Whoa, hold on. All right, hold on. Give me a second. He said it's 2 Nards. Give me 1 second, y'all. I want y'all to go look up. Oh, it is 2 Nards. Demise McMullen. I think Demise McMullen. You're right. My bad. Thank you for correcting me on that, Troy. Demise McMullen. How y'all got 2 Nards and neither one of y'all name is even Bernard? Demise McMullen is the person that I'm talking about. Go look up Demise McMullen. His name is spelled Demise, which is a crazy name. Why would you name your child Demise? Wow. Talk about a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay. McMullen, McMullen. Go look up his jail charges. And if his jail charge is not long, look up the other one. One of them Nards, they've been in there bidding crazy. But look,